So they attack all crops, vegetables, beans, tomato, peas, any kind of crop. So this is their mouth they use to suck all the cells in the plant. So this is a very fast video. And you can see here, the dark spot here is their feces, just like their waste products. After which they suck, they release this on the plant surface. A dark spot which cover the surface of the plants and prevent it to have access to sunlight. Plant depend on sunlight to feed and use that to reproduce or give you good results. So whenever you have thrips on the field, the moment they feed, they exstrict. That exstrict is not good for your crop. So it's a very dangerous pathogen they secrete. So you can see what it look like. The white part is basically where they feed it on. There is no nutrient anymore. The dark spot is not your leaf, it's their feces all over. So there is nothing for the plant left. The plant is left with nothing. Eventually it will wither and die over time. So they are also a vector. They carry some disease vector. So you need to also have it in mind that when you have this problem on the field, this problem comes with a secondary infestation. When you have thrips attacking your crop, when they deposited those particles, it comes with a secondary infestation. So it's not only coming to feed, it's leaving a danger to you to deal with afterwards. So thrips is a very important crop you have to control as a farmer. Otherwise, investment to be at stake. So now they are laying egg. They lay their egg into the plant tissue. This is a newly laid egg. If they lay a egg within 2 days or a few days, 2-3 days, the egg is ready for hatch. So the egg have hatched within a very short cycle. So it's a crop that have a short life cycle and they can reproduce within a short time.
You mean
So
it's
if
a
you have
pest?
one, is a pest. Yeah. So if you have this pest on your farm, one adult female can lay up to 150, 200 eggs. Within 2 to 3 weeks, they've completed their life cycle and they are ready for another destruction. So you can imagine if you have one and two, three, within a year, if you have one, it can turn to close to 10 generations on your farm. If you have more than one, you can do the extrapolation within 1 year. So their attack is always very, very severe. This is a newly hatched egg, a larva that's feeding on the plant tissue, the plant cell, sorry. So they continue feeding from the day they were hatched till they complete their life cycle. So they have only 3 weeks to spend on their life cycle, but throughout that 3 weeks, they ensure they feed and they destroy your plant tissue so that your plant cannot have a space to photosynthesize. So they live together as a group. For this second stage larva, they don't feed. This is the pupa stage. So it's ready to become an adult. So this is the only window your crop have, a safe window between a short time for them to pupate. But through the time they were hatched and they become pupa, they will be feeding. After during the pupa stage, they don't feed. When they turn to adult as well, they feed, they lay egg, they cause big problems. can see the feces as a feed, they drop that. As a feed, they drop that. So this is just a short view of what the pest look like. Um, it will be important for us to know what we are talking about. And these are some symptoms or damage caused by this pest on crops. This is a vine leaf. You can see the leaf surface. This is a damage on cucumber. All the white stitch part you could see around has been feed on. The cell, all the sap or moisture content around this has been feed on, and it was replaced by their feces. That's why you can have all this deformity in cucumber. So it does not only affect tomato alone, it affects virtually all crops. So whatever crop you grown, have it in mind that such kind of insects or pests could be a danger to your crop. And it's always good to prepare for how to control them because they are natural enemy. You cannot do without them. We've been trying to control mosquitoes since onset. Every time you kill mosquito, more will still come. So it's the same thing for the crops too. So this some damage on oranges. So they affect orange as well. This are damage on pepper. I got this picture from one of the participants as well, just to showcase what they can do at the local level. So these are pests that comes to attack your crop and also leave a footprint as they are going. Because of the pathogen they secrete, it's very, very important to guide against preventing them from attacking your crop because when they are living, they are not living alone. They are dropping something also for you to deal with afterwards. So these are some symptoms of thrips. And there are two important sucking pests which we are finding difficult to control, which we want to focus our discussion on. One of them is thrips. The second one is mite. So this second one is spider mite. I try to combine them together because they have similar mode of damage with some little differences. So this spider mite, this is not actually an insect pest. It's a spider. They belong to Acaricide family. Archite family. So this is how they form when they attack your crop. They have a web spread all over and they move around the web. They also have similar feeding pattern like that of thrips. They equally deposit some pathogen on the crop after the attack. So this is just a picture of it. So they have close to 1,200 species of this spider mite. They have the red, they have different types, but whichever one they have, I mean, you have on your farm, one thing is unique about them. They they have what they call webbing, and the webbing is mostly done by the adult female, whereby they spread the web across. They use that to move around easily to attack or destroy your crop. I have a short video as well, just maybe 1 minute, to show what kind of damage or how they attack the crop. This is for spider mite. The first one was on thrips. It's a very small pest, difficult to see with a naked eye. At times you have to use under the view of microscope to see or a magnifying glass, but their damage can be seen all over the leaf. So they are very small but mighty. They have similar mode of destruction. They puncture through the plant cell, suck the sap, just the same way the trip does its own. So, but one other danger this has is it have a web which is spread all over and prevent your crop to have access to good sunlight and so on. So we'll be seeing that shortly. So these are the leaves that was infested. This is not infested. You can see the one on the left is infested. The one on the right is not infested. So this is what spider mite can cause on your crop. You can see A single female around 100 eggs. They are laying egg here. The egg is trying to hatch, but with seat leg. The moment it starts, you hatch, they start feeding. That's why I said they are not insects because they have 8 legs. Insects usually have 4 legs, maximum of 6 legs, but this one have 8 legs. So they belong to the spider family, but they are very dangerous to the crop.
I think I can also add here that most pesticides that can handle insects cannot handle acaricides because they are not in the same family, six-legged insects and eight-legged insects.
You are correct. So the choice of insecticide is very, very critical on what can control the pest. This is courtship behavior, trying to meet. Meeting. So an infested plant with what's it called, spider mite, the symptoms you see is webbing, and that webbing is produced by the female, adult female mostly. So you need to carry out periodic scouting on the farm to ensure you don't have any. From what we mentioned earlier, one adult female can lay up to 100 or more eggs, and within a very short life cycle, they are also ready to reproduce. This is how they produce their web. So you can see their movements. So when they cover your crop like this, the crop is suffering from a lot of things. It can have most of the leaf surface, which is the chlorophyll part, has been feed on, replaced with dead their waste. That is one. Secondly, the web also have covered the leaf surface. The leaf cannot photosynthesize. Eventually, they wilt and die. So it's a very difficult pest, which if you have an attack on the farm, within a very short time, they can easily spread and remultiply and dominate the farm within a short space. So you can see how they move around. So this is just to show us what the pests look like, because it's important to know what you are trying to control. These are some damages as well on some crop. It's not only they attack every crop, not only tomato, not vegetable alone. You can see some damages on other crops here. This is it. These are their small egg they lay. They feed on the plant cell and replace with their waste products. So that talks about the problem. Now we're trying to bring you back to what we have in-house as a solution to control this pest. And one thing we want us to take note is this. Pests like this are difficult to control. You must choose the right product for it. Pesticides are produced specifically for different pests. There is no general insecticide that do gbogbo niche. They will sell agbo for you that you can do this, can do that. It's a scam. So insecticide are produced specifically to target either 1, 2, 3, 4 pests within a family group, and there will be reason why they can get that job done. So we'll be sharing some insights now. So in-house today in Bayer, we have some solution for sucking pests. So I'll be starting with the active ingredient, which is why we call it the content inside the bottle. One of the major active ingredients we have that can control such kind of sucking pests, either mites or what's the other name, thrips, aphids, whitefly. There are a lot of them. We just make these two as the most difficult one to control. So one of the active we have is pyrototramite. This active, I will talk more about its uniqueness. Is because of the mode of action, how it operates. We have it in Nigeria in one of our innovative products we are selling as Tian here. Tian, most vegetable farmers should know Tian. So Tian contains pyrototramite and another product called flumedamide. Together is a formulated product. So this active, one of the active in Tian can control effectively what's the name? Spider mite and thrips effectively. And the rate of use to control, because if you have the right product and you did not use it correctly, you might not get effective results. And the danger with that as well is you are exposing your crop to more danger. You are wasting your money. So it's important to understand the rate of use on the label before you apply a product. So here I simplify it to consumer language. We need 3 bottles of this. Is 100 mil per hectare, which is 300 mils. But to put it in one knapsack, you usually need 30 mils per knapsack. That means if you have a bottle of 100 mil, it can cover for you for 3 knapsack. That's for Tian, this brand name. We equally sell it in other countries as Movento. But the brand name we register in Nigeria is Tian. And because of this active ingredient we have in it, is a very suitable candidate to control any kind of sucking pest, being spider mite, thrips, aphids, whitefly. Then the second product we would like to propose as well is imidacloropide. We have it in our brand as Confidor. Also is registered and available in Nigeria. The rate of use to treat it on 1 hectare is 300 mils. 300 mils. So to control in knapsack, you need 30 mil per knapsack. The third product we'll communicate is thiacloropide here. Thiacloropide is our innovative AI we developed also to control sucking pests. And it's available in 2 brand names. One of them is Belt Expert, the other one is Proteus. We have Belt Expert available in Nigeria, which is selling, and you need only 2 bottles of that per hectare, 200 mils, which is 20 mil per knapsack. The fourth one is deltametrine. We sell it as dosage. This also is registered in Nigeria and is available. We recommend 200 mils per hectare. It comes in 4 ml vials, a small like a syringe, 4 mils. So 5 of that will take care of 1 hectare, 1 knapsack for you. So this is what we have in our in-house to control this pest. There's reason why we didn't depend only on one solution is to protect whatever you have in terms of your investment as a farmer. If you're using only one solution today to control the pest, over time, they will build resistance. So with this one, you can juggle around the program and ensure that there is no issue of resistance on your crop. So this just talk briefly about how we develop the molecules. Major sucking pests, because like I said, insecticides are developed to control specific pests. There is no one that is general insecticide. In some cases, if you have formulated products, they can do, but AI are developed to control pest specific. It's important to mention this because resistant issue is very, very common in pesticide industry, whereby people apply products and they claim it does not work. And a lot of times you need to get the right product which has control over the pest and ensure it's applied correctly. If it is done correctly, you can prevent issue of resistance and so on. So I'll continue playing so that we can save time. Here, naturally, it's not every organism or every insect an insecticide will control. There might be one or two of those insects that genetically they have resistance against your insecticide. So when you have one resistant on the field, you spray a chemical today and you're able to have maybe 99, you have 100 insects on the field, 99 were controlled, one is left behind, which is this one. This one that is left behind will reproduce and give birth to upstream. Those upstream will carry the same genetics with him or with it that will prevent it or have resistance against such kind of insecticide. So this is it here. Okay. Just as I mentioned, so the moment most of this one in the cycle here, they've built resistance to the particular insecticide. Either you are using the same insecticide time day in, day out, from the same family, similar mode of action, you expose them to resistance. So the idea behind having 4 chemistry proposed is for you to have different products with different mode of action and with different control measures. So when you alternate them effectively, you can control resistance issue on the field because it's genuine. Yes, label, the timing of application, the dose rate to apply is very, very important to know. This is very, very important. Change product you use. Always rotate the product you use. It shouldn't be the same product day in, day out. Yeah. Check when is the gap between you need to spray. So we have a scheme of treatment window whereby you alternate either the 4 chemistry we propose there differently so that if at all there are overlapping pests, because you are not expecting to have only one pest on your field, a vegetable farmer that grow maybe tomatoes should expect to have 2 types of luta, expect to have white fly, expect to have thrips, expect to have mites, aphids, everything will come to your farm to feed. So you need to have different things to take care of each of them because there's no one insecticide that can do complete control on all. So you must have a program in place to control each of them. So this just illustrates that briefly. If you notice what we show here in this map, you do the first generation treatment with a product with mode of action 4D with a brand name Sivanto, which is our product. The second treatment with mode of action 23. So it's totally different. If they are familiar with this particular insecticide, the second one you are bringing on board, they might struggle to deal with it. So that's the idea behind it. Don't buy product based on brand names. You should check the molecules in it, that's the active ingredient, and the mode of action. So it's always good to have one-stop solution or one-stop shop which you patronize, that you are sure you are not repeating brands. You are not only using brands with the same thing inside, you are using products with different active ingredients, which is the most important thing. So here we've alternated three different mode of action. So that's just the idea. You need to alternate different products to ensure you are not repeating the same and prevent resistance on your crop. So the responsibility lies on everybody, if you're a farmer, to choose and ensure you respect um, the alternation program. So this one, so coming back to the product in question, that's Tian, which is highlighted here on my screen. Tian contains pyrotretramide, which is the molecules that control. So I show here the IRAC group, which is the mode of action it belongs to, 23. And this is how it operates. If you apply Tian on your crop, it's walked through the plant system, the plant uptake it through the leaf, and it goes into the roots through the stem and remain within the plant system. If you remember the first video I shared, these two insects, they suck the sap from the plant. And this product has been sprayed on your crop and it has retained within the plant system. So anytime you are not on the field and the insect want to suck or want to attack your crop, what you'll be taking in will be the active ingredient. So eventually, once they take that, they stop feeding. 2, 3 days later, they die. Because it's always difficult to have insects present when you are spraying. They will run away, they fly. But the technology behind this is when you spray, the plant's leaf absorb it and it remains within the plant system for a short period of time. When the plant come around, feed on it, they take that portion and they die. So these are some new innovation on how to control such kind of pests. And what happened after they feed on the leaf, they have incomplete molting and subsequent death. It exposes their skin off, they are left with skeletal, and eventually they die off. So this is one way Tian can control sucking pests on your vegetable crop or any kind of crop you are growing. This one talks about the crop we have in this family. This for belt expert and confidor. They operate through vapor action. When you spray, they can also be absorbed by the plant system, and they also act by contact and systemic. So if eventually you spray them, they touch the insects on the field, they die immediately. If the insect is not on the field when you spray, it's retained within the plant system, and immediately they have contact with it, they can take their portion and they die. This is for the second one. If you check from this first group, this is group 23, this is group 4. So you are not using the same molecules, they are from different family, and with that you can have a good alternation. These are also details about how they do their control measures. This also shows some performance of the products, Tian, on some certain insect pests on the field. We can see white aphids, white fly, bugs, lepidopterans. For this particular spirotetramerate we have in Tian, its control efficacy is very low on lepidopterans, that's caterpillar. But the good thing is Tian has two molecules. The second one can control it better, which is flubendamide. So this combination give you effective control and your crop is safe. I have something similar here. just to show you different insect pests and what kind of control measure do you expect. So the table here, if you have excellent, shows that it's very good against that pest. If you have it in like light green, it shows that it's good. If it is yellow, meaning that the performance is not very, very strong. And if it is white, that means it's insufficient. So this is treatment we do across different products that can be used to control those pests. This is aphids, whitefly. This is thrips, the botanical name, scientific name of thrips. So, and the code here represents each of the insecticide. So this is for Tian, we are trying to promote. Then this one are for other reference products that were tried. This is Confidor, imidacloprid. This is Thiamextosam in yellow here. This one is lambda cylotrine, which we are very conversant with, either in Larafos or so on. So this just show you what we've tried in-house to control different pests with different molecules and their strength in terms of control. And lastly, this is just more or less a spray program we design to ensure that a farmer can have an alternation, not to use only one chemical time after time, so you can replace with the other one. So this is a crop cycle, a life cycle or a vegetative stage of a crop. I took tomato as an example here. And at each stage in time of that crop, you expect to have some certain insects that will affect it. When your crop is just setting up, establishing, sometimes you experience cutworm that cut off the stem and prevent them from shooting up. So that disease can control it for you. And this is part of a chemistry we recommend earlier to control insect pest on vegetable. This second stage, when your plant started having flowers, they are reaching this stage of flowering stage. They experience all kind of sucking pests, which you can have whitefly, you can have aphids, you can have thrips, you can have mite, you can have a lot of sucking insects are always after your crop within this window when your crop started to make fruit and when they start producing fruit. So it's important to have something to guard against it. There we have Belt Expert, which was discussed earlier, Confidor, and Tian. The reason behind is you won't be spraying just one thing time after time. You can use this today. After 7 days, the next spray you're going to do, you introduce second treatment. The third time, you introduce the third one. With this way, the insects will not get used to your treatment. So you are always changing your treatment time after time. And when you have challenge of lepidopterans, which are the likes of caterpillars, tuta absoluta, armyworm, boilworm, cutworm, Tihan can also do the same job because it contains two active ingredients. One active is for sucking pest. The second active is for chewing pest. Belt Expert also have two active ingredients. One is for sucking pest, one is for chewing pest. So they can fit in at any program within your crop. So this is what we design. We want to recommend for farmers to adopt to fill in the gap. And the last part of this, which I would like to share, is the sucking pests always have a secondary infestation they release on your crop. So there's always important to have a effective fungicide to control that. Today, unfortunately for us in Bayer, we don't have fungicide available, but I'm sure there are competent fungicide in the market which you can source. Mr. Yokunle Ore will take us through how to source for those important fungicide that you can use to complement the insecticide, because it is integrated pest management. It's not only one way. You need to complement with something else to make your crop better. So I will stop here. The last thing I want to mention is for us to consider nematode. Nematode is a very critical topic. We've had this session. This should be maybe the fourth time, the Let's Grow Veggies. We've talked about nematode as a key problem for vegetable crops. It's very, very real. So we have vellum to address that area of nematode, and it's very, very peculiar to all crops. So I will be resting my case here. Thank you for listening, and thank you all for your attention. So I'll be open for questions or interaction. Thank you. And over to you, Mr. Kunle.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for the very interesting and very interesting presentation. Thank you very much. All right. I think the floor is open now. If there's anybody that has additional question, I have one particular question that I would like to ask, but please feel free to raise up your hand, ask a question, and if you want to type the question, type it, we'll moderate, and we would, someone is saying, can you ask a question through voice? Yes, you can, but just raise up your hand so that we can manage the entire process. Just raise up your hand in the chat room, then we'll give you the floor. So while the questions are coming, let me ask my question first. So my question is that I am aware that when you want to spray for some specific pests, you have to spray in the morning, spray in the evening, spray at 4, spray at 6. I've actually been in one Bayer session sometime ago where someone had talked about a particular time to spray for a pest. Can you advise us how it applies to trips? Because I know that trips are usually very active at night. So when is the best time to spray? Is it when they finish eating in the morning or when they are about to start eating in the evening? Ahmed.
Yeah, sorry, my computer was on mute. I'll just take this brief quickly. For spraying, there is a recommendation or recommended time for spray of pesticide. Is always either early part of the morning or late in the evening. The idea is at that time your plant is on the resting mode. They are not feeding. When there is sunlight, they feed. But this still take us back to why you need to choose the right chemistry to use on the farm. If you are choosing some products, some people choose to spray because a pest is present on the field. Let me tell you, whenever you are spraying, it's just like you seeing bomb blast or gunshots, you will run away. If an insect see you spraying, they will find their way around. They will escape, they will run, find a place to hide. The best is to choose the right product to use. Even when the pests claim that they are smart, you should show them that you are smarter. It's ideal to spray in the morning, early part of the day when the plant is still hibernated, or late in the evening where they are trying to relax. During the daytime, they are photosynthesized. They take sunlight. They try to feed in whatever they consume. So if you spray good pesticide either in the morning when the pests later come out and claim they are active, the insecticide you spray can start working. Some insecticides are only contact. If they did not meet the pest on the field, they will not kill it. Some are contact, some are systemic, some are stomach poison. So there are different mode of action for insecticide. So getting the right one to spray and the right time to spray in the morning or late in the evening, because at that time your plant is resting, not because the pest is active. No, if you have the right insecticide, it can control the pest for you at any point in time.
Okay, thank you very much for that explanation. Okay, so the one person has raised up, two people are raising up their hand for, okay, so three of them actually, but one has dropped, so DK has dropped. So we start with Nabil Adeyemi. Nabil Adeyemi, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. I don't want noise, go there. I see the questions coming in the chat room. We'll come to that. Just keep dropping it there. Nabil Adeyemi, can you
Yeah, yeah.
unmute and answer? Okay.
I'm, I'm on the line now. Yeah, that was
All
a
right.
good presentation. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I just want to ask, how fast will this? Have you experienced resistance with these insects, especially for this? We need information for this information for upcoming farmers. That's the first question. And secondly, what's the limitation of these pesticides? Which of these vegetables have you not? This pesticide pest is not really effective on. Thank you.
I always put my mic on mute. For the first question, terms of insect resistant issue, if you have the right insecticide, we have some products that have been available or on ground for like 15, 20 years, and there are no issue of resistance. What I tried to show in the slide was that genetically, you always have either one or two organisms that have resistance against some certain active ingredients. Most of what we show here will not really have issue of resistance over time. So because they are designed with innovative technology. But if you want to manage resistance effectively, the best way we could do is to ensure alternation, just as I proposed in this slide earlier. And the second question you asked is that are there limitations to crop? I think for crop of interest, which are farmers' crop, this insecticide can be used on it. Vegetable, cowpea, general insecticide you can use on any crop. The most important thing we look at is the pest in question. So if you want to address a certain pest, choose the insecticide that can correct that pest, because there is no one insecticide that do gbogbo niche. In most cases, insecticides are designed to target pest specific. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, I think you did. Thank you very much. All right. Second hand raised up there is Taiwo Kafi. Can you unmute and ask your question?
Yes, thank you so much. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Glad to be here. I'm somewhat new in this vegetable business. Ms. Ayo is one of my mentor. My question is, I get that this process that I've just described in terms of what you do, is mostly preventive. What do you do if you actually have it live on your farm and you can see that they are here? You already have those things happening live and you are seeing them. What do you do in terms of application of these various pesticides?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I love this question. It's good to carry out preventive measure on the farm. It's cheaper. But when there are problems on the farm, if you observe very well during this discussion, the insecticide in question are designed to cure. If you spray, they stay within the plant system. When the insects come and suck the nutrients from the plant, they die. So that means even though there is infestation on the field, you apply it, they come around, they suck or they attack your plant, they will die. So it can also do a curative treatment for you. It's good. I always advise farmers to get their preventive kits ready, but it doesn't mean that they are only for preventive purpose. It's cheaper to carry out preventive measure on the farm. But if it is to cure, the insecticide are designed to cure a particular insect on the field. If you follow the mode of action I described, the way they operate to cure an existing problem.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kafitupe, I believe you're sorted. That's very clear. So my summary to that response is that it is both curative and preventive. So it can deter the pest from coming in, and if they're already there, it knocks them down. Great. All right, Mr. Buki Williams, over to you. You're next. Mr. Buki. Okay, so there are questions. Mr. Buki is not there yet, so let's go to the chat room.
I am here. Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I'm so sorry. I was already talking. Okay, all right. Can you hear me now?
Very clearly, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a very enlightening presentation. Most appreciated. Some of these things definitely are just reinforcing some things that we know. And it's also good to know that all these products are available in the market. So we know what to do when we need them. Question for me is, I just transplanted from the nursery to an open field tomatoes last weekend. I do have Tihan. And Movento, I don't have at the moment, but I'm also going the process of procuring. I've been alternating because I had an hectare of bell pepper. I think I started the preventive measure late, and I was hit by thrips, but it did cure. So it confirms what you're saying, that it's not only preventive but curative. So at what stage do I start applying like Tihan or any of the
Okay.
insecticides after
Okay.
transplanting?
Okay. Just to add to what you said,
Yeah.
Tian is the same thing as Movento.
Right.
It's just another brand name we sell in other country. So it's
Absolutely.
the
Okay.
same thing. If you have Tian,
Okay.
you have Movento. What you might need to
Okay. So
source
that's good.
for might be to source for belt experts, which is a different product
Belt
with
expert.
different
Okay.
active ingredient with different mode of action. At any point
Okay.
in time you have it, if there is attack on your field, you can apply it. Attack
Right.
for spider mite is visible. You can see. Attack for thrips, you can see from the symptoms. That was why I shared the picture earlier. So at any point
I
in
know
time,
that.
if there is attack, you can spray.
It's the prevention I'm talking about.
Oh,
I
prevention.
have just
Okay.
transplanted tomatoes to an
Okay.
open field. When do I start? I
Looking
just
at this
started.
window, looking at this
Right.
slide I shared
Right.
here.
Okay.
By the time your crop is approaching this stage, flowering stage, what we advise from 2-3 weeks after transplanting, start your farm scouting. Look out for possible pest infestation. It could be thrips, it could be whitefly, it could be cutworm, it could be any kind of pest. Why I try to put chemicals or insecticide that control each of these pests is because you can know what to go for. If you notice whitefly, you have a choice to choose either Belt Expert, Confidor, or Tihan. If you have caterpillar, grasshopper, cutworm, you can do with Desis. If you have lepidotran like tomato leaf miner, you can go with this one. So it's
But
always
this
a
is
challenge.
curative. You are saying when I see. I'm talking about preventive. I don't want to see.
Is a
Can I
preventive
just start
program.
a program? Can I start a program without seeing anything?
Mr. Williams, it is
preventive
both preventive and curative.
You have them
but when you start
available.
seeing, they're there now.
No,
So
you
can start using them before you see.
That's all I need. That's all I need to. So you are telling me when I see. Can't I start
be
before
on
I
your
see?
field.
That's
They must be on your
what he
field.
meant when he said it is preventive.
They must be on your field. The only thing you will notice when you started seeing damage. Yeah, they must be insect to be on your field. You can't go away without it. If you have a crop, insect must come and feed. The moment you start seeing their symptoms, they have causes a big damage. Don't wait until that symptoms is shown. Do a spray program for preventive treatment. That's why I share this. You can have
I have a
this.
spray program.
Okay.
And what you're saying reinforces what I know. What I'm saying, when do I start? I just planted last week. Do I start immediately or do I give it some time? That is what I need to clarify.
What we normally advise, do feed scouting, know what you want to control. It will not be ideal for you to start spraying, for example, Tian with the target to control, okay, let me take Desis, with the target to control Tuta absoluta. It's not really designed for it. Field scouting is very, very, very important to know what you want to control. You can start immediately you plant your vegetable. It's a very fragile crop. Activity began. So
can I quote you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to quote you.
Yeah, quote
you
me.
said if you're planting tomatoes, expect everything.
Expect pests. They will be there.
You said all the pests would visit.
They will visit.
I have heard that and I know. So why do I have to wait to see?
You are not waiting to see. You scout to see the symptoms. Scouting is very, very simple. It's about checking.
I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Do I have to wait to see?
You don't need to wait to see.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Okay, you don't need to wait to see. You can start spraying.
That's all I need. I just need to clarify that.
Yeah, so when does he start to spray? So let's
start spraying.
Hold on. Let me break that question down. Let me throw more light to it. So if you plant tomatoes, all right, you transplant your tomatoes at 4 weeks to the field.
Yes.
Now, the life of the tomato, from my own little experience, I know I'm going to expect mites. I'm going to expect thrips. I'm going to expect, okay, the other ones are fungal. The question
White
he's asking
flies.
is that at the point when I transplant, when should I start the preventive sprays?
Thank you.
I'm asking you, Ahmed.
I'm trying to unmute my mic.
Okay.
The moment you transplant, you can go in 1 week after transplanting.
Aha, 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's all.
thank you.
That's all.
That's what I
So that
wanted to know.
prevents.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Buki, for being persistent with that question. I like it.
Thank you very much.
These
I
are,
really appreciate it.
I think it is because of answers to this kind of question. That's why we are all gathered here, all 70 of us.
Exactly.
We need live answers to this. Thank you very much also, Ahmed, for answering.
Thank you, Ahmed. I most appreciate this. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Ronke Jaisimi, over to you. You're next.
Hello, Ahmed.
All right. Is it possible for us as a big, Ekpe family to put together, we all grow, I mean, there are many of us on here that do pepper, and at the same time we do tomatoes. Can we have I don't want to use the word generic, but a template program pulled up, that starts from that week 1 after transplanting? This is what we do on week 1. Now, what is the frequency? We talked about alternating. What's the, do you alternate every 7 days or every 3 days, or after how many days do you go to the next product?
Okay.
That's two questions. That's question number 2. Question number 3: do these pests, are they also in the soil, or are they only on the plants? Because my workers say they're drenching the soil. Assuming that they are laying their eggs in the soil. Is there any truth to that?
Okay.
Or are they only on the plants?
Okay. Yeah, I will take the first question. I think I will leave that to Mr. Ayokunle. That's regarding whether as a group. But the second one, which talks about alternation, alternation, we have 2 recommendations. You can alternate at 7 days interval if the infestation is present on your field. If there is infestation on your field, you are trying to carry out a curative treatment, 7 days interval. And also, depending on the efficacy window of the insecticide you are spraying. Please take note. Depending on the efficacy window, every insecticide have a period of efficacy, a window where they are active on the plant. So most of what we have in-house can last up to 2 weeks, our insecticide. So if you spray any of my product today, it can stay active on your plants for close to 2 weeks. So if it is curative treatment, you need to do 7 days interval. If it is preventive, you can spray today and come back after 2 weeks.
Oh,
and
she didn't take
do
the
the
key.
second
You
spray.
can drop the key there.
Yeah. So that is it. The third question, which talk about soil drenching, whether pests are in the soil. Some pests are in the soil, but not every pest. Most pests always hibernate in the soil to turn to pupa. Some of them hide under the leaf, fold themselves in the leaf to turn to pupa. Some goes to the soil to turn to for pupation to become an adult. For the likes of, I can give example for grasshopper. Grasshopper lay their egg under the soil. If the attack you're having on your farm, maybe on a maize farm, or I don't know what crop it might be, happen to be like grasshopper, they lay their egg under the soil. Such kind of products, such kind of crop and pest can be treated with drenching. Among the products I proposed there, 2 of those products are meant for drenching. One of them is Confidor. Confidor can be used for drenching to control soil-borne insects. You drench the soil, spray through the soil, and see how you can control. Second one is dosage. Dosage also can be used for soil drenching because they have a way they penetrate within the soil. It's called vapor action. So those two can be done. So depending on the pest, but most pests hibernate in the soil.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Actually,
All right,
one last
thanks.
question. I'm sorry, one last question. You said Confidor is now available,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Is it within, is it expired or is it current? Because for the longest time we had expired Confidor.
Okay. Okay.
So what's
The
available?
Adeyemi will answer to that. He's the sales
I'll
guy.
let Yemi discuss that. Adeyemi is online, so
Adeyemi or Tope will answer to that.
yeah.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Adeyemi, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your patience and your comments at this event. For Confidor, what we have currently in Nigeria by date, it is expired. But what we did is that we took a sample and we did a revalidation, and the results shows that. Are you hearing me?
Please, I'm busy right now. I can't deal with it. Sorry.
Okay. As I'm saying, we've done a revalidation and the result shows that
Then we have to wait.
There's a particular batch
The line is bad.
Your line is bad.
I can come in here.
Yemi, your line is bad. Your line is bad, Yemi.
April 20, it's still very valid. What I'm saying is that we have a particular batch is expired by date, but we've done a revalidation on it, and we have a revalidation document to support it that is still very efficient and very effective. Ahmed can support on that.
Hello, guys. To further explain what Adeyemi said, the products are just expired by date because we insisted on keeping to a 2-year expiry labeling. But in terms of efficacy, they are active for more than 3-4 years or even 5 years in some cases. So what we have done is that we have revalidated them. So there are documents that support that. We have shelf-life studies that shows that they are active for longer than 2 years. So nobody should express any fear if you pick any of those products. They are still as effective as they were manufactured.
Okay, so hold on, okay. Software that just spoke now is the country manager or country lead manager for Boma, Nigeria. So he's speaking with authority.
Okay.
All right, okay,
so what you're saying is that if I took this product that I bought in Nigeria and I took it out of this continent to ask the same question or have it tested, it will be supported and it will be acceptable to be used in other countries or other continents outside of outside of Africa, because I believe that Bayer Global had a reason for an expiration date. Why is it only in Nigeria that we extend and get it revalidated? What's the purpose of having an expiration date if we're now going to revalidate that expiration date?
Okay. Maybe I can come in here to throw some light. It's based on shelf life stability. Most of the products we develop are developed for European markets before, and the shelf life with the condition of European weather is usually 1-2 years. We are in tropical condition, And if you want to send a product from Europe to tropical countries, because we are not really sure of the what is it called, climatic condition, then when we come on board, we make it 2 years. So that after 2 years, if that shelf life runs through, we normally pick from the sample in the market, send back to the lab in Germany for it to be re-evaluated. If it is analyzed and the active ingredient is still within a range that is valid for use, we have our green light to proceed. If it is not, we will be asked to recall those products. So far, what we've tried are proving that they can stay beyond 4 years, because we've picking samples, sent back, we've gotten revalidation for additional 2 years. We are working on the ground, so even with NAFDAC, to ensure all the products we register for 2 years are extended to 4 years today, the studies we have, but that is on the back end to avoid the topics of shelf life issue. But when we come back to the country like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we brought in products with 2 years stability because they were developed for European market before, not for tropical markets. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that response. Okay,
sorry, Mr. Kunle, let me just add here. And even by policy, Bayer too, at the global level, have embarked on extending most of our products to a minimum of 3 years from next year upward. So some of our products coming in will start carrying 3 years. That's just the current information at the moment.
Okay. All right, thanks for the clarity. All right, next person is raising up his hand is Femi Adekoya. Femi Adekoya, go ahead. Femi Adekoya, unmute your mic and go ahead.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me better now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you. I'm also glad that I'm speaking with giants in the agrochemical industry, particularly to the representatives. All right, so I want to ask, in the course of this, I have like 3 questions. In the course of this presentation, you mentioned...
Please, mute your mics if you're not talking, please.
In the course of this presentation, you mentioned, and let me say you agreed with Mr. Ore, that agrochemicals, particularly the AI for insects, are not effective on mites, which you agreed because Mr. Ore pointed that, and I know that basically as a pest manager myself. But from your presentation, you have gathered, I know spectrotetramate tetramat to be effective against mite. However, I'm not sure of imidacloprid. I'm not sure of tracopide. Why? I hope you got my question. I think there's a confusion there. You have to clarify it. I want to also ask, you mentioned, I think someone was asking about must it see them? I think it's not really a question particularly, but I think you have to address it. I believe that people have to see what they want to control. We must not, in the name of prevention, just begin to apply based on our calendar. Just like you mentioned the issue of resistance. When we apply, I know that Bayer on their site, I am familiar with Bayer sites global. They don't advocate for a prophylactic application of chemicals. If I want to believe you by your word, you don't advocate for just preventing, just apply it before you do it. See what you monitor it, use a lot of monitoring schedules, like let's say yellow strips, what's it called? The paper tape, the yellow
sticky papers.
Yeah. You can use that to know if they are around, at what threshold. Are you also advising your farmers the threshold of these things? Because thresholds are very, very important if you are also advocating integrated pest management. Please, I need to comment on that. And lastly, I want to also ask, how does Bayer, as a very big agrochemical, company or industry, monitoring insecticide resistance in Nigeria. How do you have a information system that monitors insecticide resistance? This issue is very, very important. Many farmers do not know what is called insecticide resistance and what is Bayer as a giant doing in this regard. Thank you very much.
Okay, Ahmed.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to unmute my mic. Thank you very much for your input. I think from the last question that was addressed regarding when to spray, there was something I was emphasizing on, which is scouting. Ideally, a farmer needs to scout to see what he wants to spray. If you scout, I even mention that scouting to identify which of the insects you have on your field to know what to pick to correct it. We did not advocate just spraying. That's why we identify or we highlighted different type of insects and what we have that can control it. So when you do your scouting, you identify the problem you have, you know what to pick from the offering to control. And in terms of threshold, it's also a very important thing. Sometimes you may have to do spot treatment for a particular area. It might not be blanket spray if it's not very, very severe. If it's severe, we do curative. But to be honest with ourselves, we are Africans. We don't carry out preventive measure. Farmers, most time, when they see a problem, that is when they run to try and control it. Close to 70% of Nigerian farmer carry out curative measure when the problem has hit them. Most people always like to sit back until they see. Um, so in terms of threshold, the precision farming practice is not really common in Africa, whereby people will farm precisionally, but we are advocating that, trying to promote that so that you farm according to what is required on your field. And then maybe I may miss some parts, but the IRM, the Integrated Resistance Management, this is part of why we have our Let's Grow Veggies as a platform to reach out to more farmers and enlighten each other on how best we can save the molecules we have on ground and also prevent issue of resistance. This is the journey we started for the past 3 years, Let's Grow Veggies. And despite the situation today with COVID and so on, we still ensure that we have a session to have people on ground to interact together about this problem. So I believe with this, our platform, we can take farmer through. And if there are other platform as well, we won't mind to be part of it to enlighten farmers on how best they can manage resistance on their field. I hope I'm able to address your questions. And thank you very much for your contribution.
No, you have one more,
Okay,
which is
what's
the
that?
main one. You mentioned that AI for insects.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, Femi.
Okay.
Mr. DK, if you are not talking to us, can you please mute your mic? I'm muting you and you keep on muting it. Femi, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you mentioned that active ingredients against insects is not particularly effective on mites. Is not particularly effective on mite. Or I understand that spectrotetramat is effective on mite and also insect, but imidacloprid and thiacloprid, I think I want to question that, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for this. Yeah, when I was saying, I said initially that insecticide are developed to control specific insects. So specific insects. There is no one insecticide that do buboniche. That was even the language I use. So coming back to spirotetramite is a proven solution for sucking pests. Why we included what's it called? Thiacloropide can do a very good job on major sucking pests. Talking about whitefly, thrips, aphids, and so on, and can carry out a good suppression percentage on mite. So this is a proven work we've done. It control and it suppress the population of mite significantly. It control other major sucking pests. So sucking pests on the field is not only mite. You have thrips, you have aphids, you have whitefly, and most of them have similar mode of damage on the crop. So you should not, we should have, if you have something that can control, like I said, no product will do 100% control for you. So it can control maybe 70% of this, 30% of that. So imidacloprid and cypertramite are good products for sucking pests. They have good control on thrips, good control on whitefly, on aphids, and can have a suppression rates on spider mite. So it's a good thing to fit in, because if there are no existing solution today to do, if you have something that can suppress it to a reasonable rate for farmer, I think it fits in to the formula. Thank you. Mr. Akole, I think your mic is still muted.
Sorry about that. Yes, my mic was muted. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Femi, for that question, very detailed. And Aben, thanks also for the response. Mr. Jemmy Sheye, please ask your question.
7.
Mr. Jemmy Sheye. Okay, while we're waiting for him, I'll go to the chat room.
I am on.
Right.
I am on now.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir.
My name is Olajide Jemishe. I am not satisfied with the answer that Mr. Ahmed gave to Mrs. Jaye Simi's question, especially on the timeline that this chemical can stay in your farm for 2 weeks. We all know that thrips are very common during the rainy season. So can you tell us categorically that this chemical can stay on your crop for 2 weeks with the volume of rain that is falling now? That is one. Then the second one is on the resistance that Mr. Femi asks now. From my own personal observation, I've seen that most of these chemicals, the insects around us, the tropical insects, are more resistant to these chemicals. And he said that most of these chemicals are made for European countries. Where will they make that of Africa? That this insect in Africa will not be able to resist. They will not be able to resist them any longer, because we know what we are facing when it comes to diseases and insects. We know what we are facing as farmers. So I want him to clear that 2 issues. That then the expiration date, 2 years to 4 years. I'm not satisfied with that answer.
Okay. So I will take the first one.
I'm almost about to say, Honorable Minister, mute your mic. It's okay.
Okay, so let me go ahead. The first one, we talks about efficacy window.
Efficacy window of 2 weeks. I'm not satisfied.
2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because you are more concerned about the rainfall. This is why the mode of action of the insecticide come to play. The insecticide we have in question translocate itself within the plant system and it stayed there. If you have an insecticide that operates as a contact insecticide that stays on the leaf, that is when there is continuous rainfall, it can be washed away. The technology behind pyrototramite in question, which is the number one AI we are promoting for that, is that when you spray it, the plant absorbs it and it goes through the plant system. I shared a video earlier which shows how that happens. It stays within the plant system. So if it rains, it's already part of the system, just like rainfall now. Rain cannot wash away what you have in you. It only wash away what you have on your skin. So, and that activity can last for 2 weeks. So if you spray today and use the right dose rate, expect to have an efficacy window for close to 2 weeks. If there is serious attack on the field, which is you are carrying out a curative measure. Maybe 7 days you have to come back and spray. And that is
You are not talking.
for this one. No,
That's
I
good.
mentioned it earlier. Maybe you didn't hear that part, but it
I
was said
heard you
earlier.
clearly. I
Okay.
heard you clearly.
So that's one. The second one regarding resistant issue, we all know very well that pesticides are produced in Europe and China. The fact that they were produced in China, malaria drugs were produced in Europe. They don't have malaria in Europe. They are meant for African market. In this case, the products are produced in Europe with the intention to sell to African market. Before we commercialize any of these products, as a company, we have a norm we respect to carry out our independent local adaptive trial to see how best can this do on the crop. That is adaptive trial, not residue or stability trial. The issue surrounding shelf life is stability. It's totally different. You have to talk about how can your product be stable within a certain temperature. That we've worked on it. And I said we are working with NAFDAC on the ground to ensure that we extend all our product beyond 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years. Because all the samples we've sent back were analyzed and they come out to be active even after 2 or 3 years of use. So we are working on that. We are just back to the country. So within the range of 4 or 5 years now. So we are trying to perfect a lot of things as well, but we're trying to be careful initially when we come on board. We were not sure about stability study in terms of can they be stable within the tropical condition for beyond 2 years. We have them for that. Then the last one is on resistance. Resistant issue. Resistant issue, if you did not manage, a lot of things lead to resistance. Number one is if you apply wrongly, lower rate of products. It's just like giving vaccine to kids. The pest will be resistant to it. That's why I emphasize on having the right product one, apply the right dose rate, and alternate. Don't repeat one molecule's time after time. That is one way. The second way is through this forum whereby we discuss with people. People that knows can also tell more people. Enlightenment can continue in terms of resistance. So it's everybody's responsibility. The video I play as well does not leave you aside. You are all involved to ensure we manage resistance. How well can we protect ourselves, the food we eat, and also the solution we have available to control the insect on the field. So resistance topic is everybody's responsibility, provided you are a farmer or you are a crop protectionist. So we are not alone in this struggle. You also are part of the struggle. Thank you. Mr. Kunle, you're on.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, so we don't have anybody raising hands again. So I'll just go into the chat room where a few questions there. Aaron Motunde says, when is the best re-entry period for controlling trips? I want to assume what it means is that what's the re-entry period after you have sprayed?
There is no one style fits all for this. Every insecticide, or let me generalize, every pesticide on the label have its re-entry period. So it's hardly you carry a pesticide that does not have pre-harvest interval and re-entry period. So they are on the label. So, but I can give example for Tian. If you apply Tian, you are allowed to go back to the field after 24 hours of spray. So most of the insecticide, 24 hours of spray, can go back to the field.
Can I also add, what is the PHI, post-harvest interval?
Yeah, pre-harvest interval for the product varies. For Tihan, we have it as 14 days, if I'm not mistaken. For Decis, we have it as 7 days. And for Confidor, should be 7 days as well. Bet Expert, around 7 to 14 days. Our pre-harvest interval does not go beyond 14 days. Most of them are 7 days. We even have a product for 1 day. The Velum, which control nematode, is only 1 day PHI. So I have to check the label again, but the information are on the labels, and we always encourage people to read the label before use. So pre-harvest interval is to know if you apply the product, when is it safe for you to harvest and consume. So most of the products are maximum of 14 days window. Some are 7 days, some are 3 days, some are even 1 day. example like vellum.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mr. Kunle, for the question.
All right, so I see your hand, Mr. Kabiru Issa, but just hold on. Let me go through the chat. Isaac Ayuba says, for some scientific literatures, soil drenching of insecticide is found to be very effective in preventing and controlling thrips and mites. Which of the Bayer solutions? I think, okay, yeah. Which of the Bayer solutions can be used for soil drench, and when is the best time to apply during this growth cycle of tomatoes and pepper? So that's the question. So I think you first of all should comment on his position of saying soil drenching of insecticide is found to be very effective in preventing and controlling thrips and mites. Is that true or not, or false?
Okay, for preventing thrips and mites, yeah, it's true. So in addition to that, maybe I mentioned earlier that we have two
soil drenching. He's talking about soil drenching.
Soil drenching is effective to control, to prevent thrips
and mites. Is that true or false?
It's true. It's true because most of the pests hibernate, their pupa hibernate in the soil, and after the pupa stage, they migrate to adult, and that causes a lot of damage. Most of these pests lay their egg on the plant, so you can also be controlled on the plant. So what we have as well to control drenching are Confidor, I mentioned it earlier, is designed for both foliar and soil. Then Desis also is another good product we can use to control drenching on the soil, on the foliar. So they have two-way of spray. It can be sprayed both on the leaf or on the soil. So those two can fit in for drenching if need be.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down to be sure I didn't miss any question. Okay, I think we're okay. Sorry, Caroline Ope. Caroline Ope says, please, what is the impact of these products on beneficial insects? For instance, I've heard that imidacloprid has a very negative impact on bee populations. I'm sorry if this was addressed in your presentation. I missed all of it because I had a work meeting. However, I found the questions and answers very useful. All right. So, impact of products on beneficial insects.
Beneficiary insect. Okay. For imidacloprid, they belongs to CNI family. CNI are harmful to bee, so there's a campaign on that. But that's for imidacloprid. But spirotetramide does not have any impact on bee. What's it called? Flumenamide does not have any impact on bee. So these ones are safer to bees. But if you want to look at it from the other way, in terms of other, what's it called? Beneficiary insects, the likes of earthworm, which are soil engineer, these are not harmful to it. There is this beetle that feed on thrips. So some of these insects side does not have any negative impact. And I have a slide for that. But in order to maximize the time, I decided to cut off those parts. But next time we can have it as part of the discussion in case question come up. Right. But Confidor, I mean, imidacloprid to be precise, is not safe for bee because they belong to CNI family. That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So if we are growing crops that are dependent on bees for pollination, then we should stay away from imidacloprid.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for that sincerity. Thank you very much. All right. So we're done with the questions in the chat room. Kabir,
hello, Mr. Ore. Hello.
Your hands are up. Femi Adekoya, you raise your hand if you have a question, please.
Okay. It's not a question.
Kabir Issa.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Raise your hand if you have a comment, then we'll come to you. Kabir Issa, yes, go ahead, sir.
Please, Ahmed, my question goes to you. I want a little clarification on the mode of action. As in, you mentioned these, sorry, even though I came a bit late, I think, but I captured something. Maybe it's from imidacloprid or spirotetramide, I'm not sure. You mentioned something like vapor action. So I want to just to highlight how does it work? As in, just a little clarification on the mode of action of this chemical on those soil pests. How does it act? I mean, how
That's
does it
imidacloprid.
kill them, control them? Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, that's on imidacloprid. Imidacloprid is designed to work on foliar and on the soil. So it's you all know what vapor means, like the way smoke moves. If you spray imidacloprid, that's Confidor, on the soil for drenching to control soil insects, it has ability to migrate within the soil where you did not spray. It moves some distance ahead and to control those insects within that space. So that is vapor action for imidacloprid, specifically for the soil insects. So it's designed for both foliar, that's for leaf, and for soil drenching. It's imidacloprid.
Thank you. Does this same method apply on mites? Termites, sorry, termites.
Yeah, it's control termites in the soil. Is a good candidate to control termites. That's imidacloprid. I just try to limit. There are other pests that this product can control, but based on our focus for today, we're on thrips and mites. I try to limit the discussion around that. But Confidor is a very good insecticide to control termites. If you have a challenge of termites on your farm, you can use Confidor for drenching. It's going to do a very, very good job.
Then the last question is, please, the withdrawal period. Do I say withdrawal period or the period that you when you apply, you have to stay away before you eat any of these vegetables?
Okay, it's called pre-harvest interval. Basically, for all insecticide, even herbicide have a HI, pre-harvest interval. When you spray, when can you harvest? So it's always on the label. In order not to be accurate, I will advise you make reference to each of the labels you have before you apply. Not only our products, any product of interest you want to use on your farm is important to know, so that the pre-harvest interval is the window where it's safer for you to harvest and consume. So I may not have every one at hand now, but you can make reference to the label. It's very, very important to check that before you spray and before you harvest and eat. So that will help you to know whether this product might be good, but it is safer for you to use on your farm if the product is closer to harvest stage, that you'll not be consuming pesticide.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmed. We'll just take two more questions from Femi and Isaac, and we'll be done because we are already way behind time. The plan was to ensure that all of this session would not be more than 1 hour, but we're already on 1 hour 40 minutes. Even though I believe it's been amazingly useful, but we still need to manage and respect everybody's time. All right, so Femi Adekoya, yeah, shoot.
Thank you very much. I wanted to interject because you said if your crops are flowering, you should not use imidacloprid. I guess that means that would mean that you just have to eliminate imidacloprid.
Sorry, I didn't say so.
Okay.
That's not from me. Maybe you missed that up.
Okay.
From this table I shared, I said at a certain stage of your crop, you should expect some certain pests. And I highlight pests you should expect at a flowering stage of your crop. And Confidor is part of the insecticide that were proposed to be used. I didn't think I mentioned that. Maybe it's a mix-up. So they are meant to control insect on the field. If your crop is flowering, is a very critical stage where you have thrips, mites attacking. Let me take you to the slide where that was shown. So maybe you this slide here. Here. So they are part of what was proposed. So this Confidor is proposed for this stage of flowering and fruiting stage. I hope you can see Mr. Femi.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay,
but
thank you.
I actually was asking the question in relation to beneficial insect, which you mentioned bees. And if we are going to be using Confidor, okay, particularly imidacloprid, even at this stage, flowering stage, even to the fruiting stage, it may just have implication. Although imidacloprid has affected.
Okay.
I think Ahmed, can I, if I may comment? For me, I think Ahmed made that very clear earlier, because it's expected that if you have flowers, for those flowers to transit from flower to fruit, you would have bees. And if the bees are not there, the flowers will not go from flower to fruit. And if you spray imidacloprid, you will kill the bees. So there's definitely going to be a problem, which was why he said that if you are growing crops that requires pollination,
Pollination like maize,
stay away
like
from imidacloprid.
yeah, like maize, like and check a lot of crops that require a lot of bee action to cross.
Peppers, tomatoes.
Yeah, so but imidacloprid has been used on vegetable for a very long time and is still proving to be a very good
Probably on
treatment
vegetables like
despite
cabbage,
despite the limitations.
leafy vegetables, I'm sure. Okay, no problem. Thanks. I think Femi is clear. I am clear. Everybody's clear. Isaac Ayuba, you are the last man standing. Shoot.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Ahmed's nice presentation. I want to support Ahmed on soil drenching of Confido. Based on my experience with the product, one good thing about Confido is that when you apply it to soil, immediately after transplanting, the plants have the Confido have the ability to be absorbed by the plant through the roots, and it goes inside the plant system, both the xylem and the phloem. So it's have a two-way system in the plant. What it means is that for every new growing part of the plant, Confido have the ability to move into that new growing plant. And that is why when you drench your crop with Confido, number one, it kills the soil, the pest in the soil, and it also goes into the plant through the roots to protect the crop against any early insects, especially aphids, whiteflies, and thrips that will come in to infect your crop. So that is what I want to add.
Thank you.
To
Thank you,
what
Isaac.
Ahmed had said. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So additional value for Confido.
All right. So I think we are done with all the questions and all the comments have also been addressed. So at this point, I would be very, very much want to appreciate. Hold on, where is the session? Okay. I very much want to appreciate Ahmed and the entire team from Bayer for the wonderful presentation that you have given and the way you've been able to properly address all the questions. It's much appreciated. I am particularly excited. This is the first of the online series that we're doing. At a point in time, we had as much as 71 people being online at the same time. And that for me is very, 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 very exciting because it shows that we obviously need knowledge and we are ready to get that knowledge because this is a lot of sacrifice to be online for 1.5 hours in the evening and be participating and active like this. It's commendable. This tells me that we need to ensure that we do this more often. So I will be working with my friends at Bayer, our partners, to see how we can have this kind of session again and again, taking different topics. If you notice, we didn't just talk generally about farming. I think we've had a lot of those kind of sessions at different meetings. It's already getting boring for us. Now we need to get into the engine and start drilling down. How do we farm profitably? How do we tackle the things that are challenges for us? So pests, diseases, fungi, how do we address them? Specific focus. And I've been working with Bayer to see how we can, and Bayer and our other partners to see how we can come up with more of these kind of sessions, and we will keep a database of everybody that is here. So don't be surprised if you start getting emails or WhatsApp messages from all of us. Please, if you want to get up the list, let us know. If you would like to get more, please let us know. This entire session has been recorded and the link will be shared with everybody, so you can go and watch it offline. As I said in the messages I sent earlier on, it is also being streamed live on YouTube, and my YouTube handle where it is being streamed is Ayokunle Ore. So Ahmed, I'm taking your slide off, so I'll show my slide so they can see my YouTube handle. This will stop other screens. Yes. Yeah. Share. Okay, yeah. So you can just go online and where is that? I'm sorry. Can you see my screen, guys? Hello?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Fantastic. So the session is being streamed at Ayokunle Ore on YouTube. So you can watch it again offline, or when we get the link for this from Zoom, we'll share the link with everybody. All right, so as a rounding note, I just want to let you know that even all these agrochemicals that has been mentioned about, be it Tihan, Confidor, all of them, Belt Experts, they are all available at Blooming Gardens. We have our shop at, our shop is at, what is wrong with this guy? Okay. So we have a shop at beside Epe T Junction in Lagos. And please feel free to reach out to us if you need any of these chemicals that has been mentioned in this presentation. You can contact us at any time on that number, send us an email, follow us on Instagram and also on YouTube on those handles that I've put out there. All of the Bayer agrochemicals are Bayer products generally are available. And if you are not within the vicinity, also note that we can do deliveries nationwide. We send products as far as Kano, Kaduna, Uyo, Bayelsa. We've sent products all over. So please feel free, even beyond the Bayer products. We sell fertilizers. Of course, we do drip irrigation. So please feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. So once again, I want to thank the team from Bayer, Tope Banjo, Adeyemi Adeyemo, and Olusegun Oworu, and most definitely Ahmed Bello. We really appreciate all of you for your time. Fantastic. God bless you. So I guess we'll be seeing you again sometime very soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and do have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you so much. God bless.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you
good
all.
night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so see you guys and have fun.
You appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Mr. Adeniji, I saw your message. Thank you very much, sir. God bless.
Thank you.